How's it break? Start.
Oh, it was awesome. Obviously, for my family and I get to go to Atlanta, experience that. For my children to experience that, it was just a dream come true. Great way to spend the All-Star break, and then absolutely nothing on Wednesday, and then we were back here for the workout yesterday. So, rested, ready to go.
Is the reception you got from their fans similar to what like Freeman and Olsen got?
Maybe a little tick lower on the dial. It was great to go back to Atlanta. Obviously, got to win a world championship there, and good memories with the family. So, all around, just a special time in Atlanta.
For what best way to go to the injuries? Just where your guys are at.
I can just go down the list. And if I forget one, I had notes today. First time I've ever had to make notes, but. So I guess I'll start with the roster move, and that's Paul Sewald. So over the weekend in Chicago, I was just experiencing a little more soreness than usual and weren't able to use him. So brought him back to Cleveland, got a scan, and he has a moderate teres strain. So he's going to be shut down for a period of time, no throw. Just really bad news for Paul and for us. And brought Nick in right back to take his spot. Then Gabby is out on rehab assignment with Columbus today, so that's good news. He's back playing. His build-up will go day by day with that. Trevor Steffen continuing with Columbus as well. Beebs makes his next start on Sunday, I believe, in Arizona. So that's Beebs came out of his last start really good. So that's that. And then Kwani is going to be out day to day for right now. He's, as you all know, he's battling the wrist the last part of the first half, and so we encouraged him to go play in the All-Star game. He's earned the right to go play in that All-Star game, knowing, he received an injection on Wednesday. So it'll be, day to day until he's back ready to play. But we knew this was coming. We encouraged him to go play in the game.
With Seawall, is that an extension of the injury he was dealing with? Is this a different part of the shoulder? Or?
I know it's a different muscle. I'm not sure if the two are related. It's just there's some damage in there that, we just felt like we needed to shut him down and see what happens.
With Steph, is there an amount of time that he has to be with the the rehab? Like when is that? Is that getting close?
Yeah, so it's supposed to end soon. With UCL reconstructions, you can apply for more time. So we're not sure. We're going to get through the actual 30 days and then reassess where we are and then see what the next steps are. So obviously, as soon as the next steps become clear, we'll loop everybody in. But as for right now, he still has a few more days on his initial 30-day window.
But Lane Thomas?
Lane is doing baseball activity, so he's building back up to get ready to go out on rehab assignment. He's feeling better each day, so really good news on Lane. But he's just now getting into baseball activity.
With Quan, was the injection planned even before the All-Star game, or did something on Tuesday react?
No, the plan was for him to go play in the All-Star game, go see our docs on Wednesday, and then they would come up with. We knew the injection could be a possibility. We've been talking about that for the last month. While he's dealing with the wrist, so it was just go see the docs on Wednesday, see what they say, and then they did administer the injection.
Bieber's pitching in Arizona. Like, what are some cues you guys are looking to see? Because we can see the box score. It's like 5 of 8 guys he strikes out, but what else beyond that?
I mean, our pitching group and our medical group are all looking at the velocities, the movements, but really more importantly, it's just Shane. How are you feeling? Are you coming out with soreness? Are you coming out? Is it general soreness, like regular soreness, or like he experienced his last rehab stint? So Shane felt great, and that's where we're at today.
The next one be like 3 innings and like 15 more pitches?
I'm not 100, probably. He 2 and 30 last time out. So yeah, we usually go 1 inning and 15 more than each progression.
You guys finished strong on that road trip after going through a tough break. What's your message kind of to your team going into the second half with where you guys are at?
Keep being us. We said it throughout the 10 days, and you get eye rolls and you get all these things, but we have to continue to be us, and we did. And then these guys rattled off 6 out of 7 going into the break. So continue to be us, keep working to get better, keep pushing, taking care of the little things. When we play good defense and we pitch well, we have an opportunity to win. And I think the biggest difference was on that last road trip, we were getting the big hit in the moment we needed it, and not just from the usual suspects. Everyone was contributing, and I think that's what has us really exciting, is that our guys are continuing to get better.
Is Ramirez okay, or what's the update on him?
Yeah, he feels great. I just spoke with him in the hallway. He's got pep in his step like he always does, but he said that the 4 days down really helped him, and he's ready to rock for a great second half.
I think one of the things we talked about when you guys were in that losing streak was how consistent the rotation seemed to be, even when the hits weren't coming, especially now with Luis's suspension extended. What are you looking for from these guys for the second half?
Continuing to work every day to get better. I feel like our starters have gotten better each time out. You're always going to have a game where you just don't have it. That happens. But for the 5 that we have, it just seems that they're finding their ways out of trouble. They're navigating these tough innings. They're stopping the big inning. I think Tanner in Chicago, I think that was one of the best things that we've seen it. Tanner's had a tough inning in each outing, and he was able to stop it after 2 runs. And just the growth and the continued development of this starting rotation has been that's really what's kept us in this season. And so just for everybody, it's do your job, be yourself. You don't have to be more than you. Just continue to go out each day, give it your best, and we're going to have a good chance to win.
12 games out, 4.5 in the wild card. Do you focus more on the wild card now, or do you even think about that?
I don't even think about it, Wednesday. We got to focus on each day. All we can control is our outcome each day, and we look at it. We just got to get in. I think you never know. Weirder things have happened in baseball. You can't write. That's why we play all 162. You can't write the story before the season ends. So we have 2.5 months ahead of us that we have an opportunity to win a ton of games and turn this season into something really special, and that's what we're focused on each day. Not sure if you guys we've added Junior Betances to our coaching staff. Brought him up from AAA to help the hitting team since Jason Esposito left for Vanderbilt. So Junior Betances, after 34 years in the minor leagues, is going to be a major league hitting coach for the first time in his career. So we're thrilled for Junior, thrilled for us, and really believe he's going to help us become a better offense.
How did he react, and I know there's some players in there I swear by him, so how did he react, and how did some of those guys?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't gotten a chance to talk to the players because we kind of it sprung on everybody today, kind of thing. We had a few other things going on, so but the players are ecstatic. The guys who have worked with Junior over the years, he's been a huge part of a lot of our players' upbringing, development, and Junior's just so ecstatic to be here. He's grateful, he's honored, he's ready to do whatever we ask, and just excited to see him get the opportunity to be in a big league dugout and impact our hitters on a daily basis.
So he's the assistant hitting coach. He takes.
I don't know what his role is. He's just on the hitting team, so I'm not sure the title. We have a lot of titles around here.
Or through the break. For whatever reason, this organization has always seemed to play better, pitch a little better as the season goes along. Why do you think that?
I don't know. I hope it continues. I'll say that. But I think it's consistency in the messaging throughout the course of the season. We work hard to try to stay on top of things as the season goes and review things with players to eliminate, things that we see or mistakes that get made to try to, and so just, the more time with them, hopefully the cleaner the game becomes, the cleaner the pitching becomes. And I think the consistency of the message and the work is beneficial to that.
Logan Allen, what did you love or like about what he was able to accomplish in the first half? First thing that comes to my mind when I say his name, getting deeper in games consistently.
No doubt. Deeper in games, we've seen his strike throwing of late improve in terms of just from a percentage standpoint. There are some games early in the season that's close to 50-50, still got decent results, good results. But I think, becoming more efficient with that strike throwing is allowing him to, be able to get deeper into these games. And that's huge for our bullpen. It's huge for our team. And I've been super impressed, even on days that Logan maybe didn't have his best stuff. He knows how to pitch. He can pitch. And we're seeing that unfold in front of us.
As you say that, I just can't kind of think about how, and you guys always say, get ahead. But when he gets ahead with his fastball, then he can use that sweeper, that backdoor sweeper against righties. It almost locks him up, and then he starts getting strikeouts with just a heater.
Yeah, he does. And you know what? He uses his cutter, I think, more than maybe people realize at times, especially on days when he has that good fastball, that he can get arm side up and into right-handers and run that cutter off it. But yeah, he's got some unique shapes and some variances of speed there. And, if you took Logan and put him in a bullpen, probably be one of our best strike throwers. But when there's a hitter in the box and you have a game plan of where you want to attack the zone with certain pitches, it becomes a lot more difficult.
Bybee, he wasn't crazy about his first half. Went back to his old way he was kind of setting up and everything else. But I think if you didn't know that he felt that way, he competed his rear end off and kept you guys in game.
Yeah, he does, and he's done that from day one since he arrived here back in 23. He's had some unfortunate breaks, and of late there's been one inning. There's one inning that maybe doesn't just really get away from him, but there's one inning that teams pressure him and maybe push a run or two across the board that ends up being the difference in the game. You remove that one inning from each of those games and, they're not doing much. So it's trying to solve that puzzle and maybe see if the hitters are making, or the opposition are making adjustments, we've got to make sure we can, see that as quickly as possible to learn how to navigate through it.
Let me ask you a question. I want to ask it the right way. We see so many of these guys, and I'm using Bybee as an example. We see so many guys adding pitches and adding this and adding that. Is there ever a point where you can do too much of that and kind of lose? Like, I always think of him as he's got a really good changeup, and when his changeup works and he saves it, he can sit back with that. But guys want to get cutters, guys want to get sinkers, guys. You know where we're going with this. Is there ever a point where you as a pitching coach go, whoa, let's just stay to your basic four?
Yeah, I think the needle that you're trying to thread. So we're always trying to get better. Even our pitches that perform, we're trying to make them better, but not to the point of it affecting other pitches surrounding that particular pitch. So I think in Tanner's case, it really hasn't been so much. Last year he started throwing a two-seamer for the first time in professional baseball. It's not really other than that he's adding pitches, but tweaking pitches. And my nervousness comes sometimes you don't want to introduce it in a game until you really feel like it's ready. The other thing you want to guard against is injury. If you're starting to grip the baseball differently, whether it be pressure or spreading your fingers a certain amount one way or the other, all of a sudden there's a different stress and strain maybe that you're accustomed to feeling. So it's a fine line that we try to thread, but believe it or not, many times these guys, they come to us with, I want to make this better, I want this to be better. When in our mind, when it's performing and you're having success with it, well, we don't want to get too crazy. So it's really a fine line to walk.
All right, Gavin, a little bit like the last Bybee, had to change some things. I thought the start he had about a 2-3 start run where it was like, oh. But there's been some inconsistencies with him as well.
Yeah, there have. And, I think, again, a young pitcher getting through his first full major league season here, he has been outstanding. And he had a little bit of a hiccup in Chicago his last outing on a lost strike zone. I think he had 5 walks. We don't teach that, we're not trying to do that. But I think if you look at the full season he's had, the adjustments he's made, the improvements that he has made, and then to string out 3-4 really, really strong outings in a row, everybody's going to have a tough one. I think that maybe that start in Chicago was just one of those off days, but he's continuing to improve and continuing to become what we feel like he can become.
All right, the big lefty, and I'll leave you alone. Well, you got a couple big lefties, but yeah, the Hawaiian. I didn't say you ruffled some. When I used your quote before his last start against the White Sox, we were talking about just get it down the middle because his stuff is that good. It opened eyes. And Rick Manning kind of was like, I love that.
I'm glad to hear Rick like that.
Yeah, that means something.
Yeah,
right?
it does.
No, but I think because we talk about guys being so fine and guys trying to fool people and this and that, when you're telling them your stuff is good enough, just throw it and let it play.
Yeah, not every pitcher has that ability. I think in Joey's case, he has really unique shapes with his pitches. His curveball, people always talk about his changeup, and his changeup is very unique. But his curveball our terminology, it's a banger. I mean, it is top to bottom. I mean, it's sharp. And so he represents a lot of difficulties for a hitter because there's speed separation, but they're really unique shapes that they then have to deal with. And he just needs to trust the ball over the white of the plate because the hitter still has a lot to deal with. And I think we saw, his start in Chicago, lost a tad bit of it towards the end of the game or in the middle of the game, but he had no walks. Really, they didn't do a heck of a lot. I think that guy jumped on a first pitch heater, start an inning, and we had just actually punched him out with 3 heaters inning before. He probably came up there looking for it, right? But Joey does have that ability, and it's not to say that this is easy because even some of the greatest pitchers in the game, their goal is not to throw the ball down the middle.
Carl, we think you're a banger too, so you keep banging away.
I'll try to. Thanks, Rick.